So you just pull it as flush to the ground as possible. That way it's not doing any photosynthesis or anything like that, so it has to use its root reserves basically, which kind of dries it out. Hopefully makes it stop growing sometime soon. They're like very small stems.
I like this, what do you call it, bindweed.
Yeah, the bindweed.
Yeah.
The golden rule, the ideal is keep it below 8 inches tall, and then you try to give people a little bit of slack. So you say keep it under 10, so everyone's not just camped out here. You can. I swear I've worked a knotweed patch. You're there all day. You turn around and look, and it's back to being 6 inches tall again, where you started. So it does grow. But below 8 inches tall, theoretically, it's driving its growth with root reserves, not solar. So if you can keep it below 8 to 10 inches for a couple years, you really do drain it, and that's what causes, then it has to pull back to its sugar stores. Now the question from Caroline was, when do you start management? So for me, it's you either start on May 1st, right around the start of the growing season, give or take a week, in that window, and you hammer it with stress all season long, having started May 1st. Or you let the plant achieve what it thinks its goal is, which is reach flowering, because that's what they all want to do, is get to flower production. That's where the energy's going. Stem, leaf, flower. If you let it get to roughly September 1st, very end of August, in a place like this, full sun and enough water, you will have flowering by August 31st. Then the plant is shifting, it's getting the hormonal signals, okay, we flowered, we did our job, now start storing the energy below ground. Why let that happen? So you get out there on September 1st or 2nd and you start cutting it flush to the ground, denying easily 6 weeks worth. Whenever the frost comes is when it's going to stop, it's going to get shut down. So we may as well prevent all that sugar from going underground. So it's the 2 days of the worker, the International Day of the Worker on May 1st, start knotweed, or Labor Day, start knotweed. One of those two. Going in between is not outlawed or banned, but those are the logical start time windows.
And the seeds aren't going to sprout that much?
The seed viability is supposed to be nil or not a consideration unless you have both genders of the plant on a site, or unless you have giant knotweed, which is in Vermont, nearby, because hybridization can again produce possibly viable seed. But this is all rhizomal work. You get to about 8 inches high, photosynthesis starts driving the growth. But to get to 8 inches, 10, it has to draw from the root reserves. So if you keep knotweed constantly below 10 inches high, you're basically draining the reserves. You might get one stem that escapes and goes 2 feet, fine, don't be hard on yourself, but just get it back down, and by the time you get to year 3 will give you a push. Year 4 will probably be the last time it really tries to push with really strong growth in May and maybe real aggressive height. And then after that, your drying station is not going to be 6 feet tall. You're going to work out of buckets, and at that point you should be concerned about biosecurity and not leaving fragments like irresponsibly. I don't worry too much about fragments in the month of September and October when we're in a drought. But if it's May and it's rainy and wet and you pull a bunch and you don't pick up after yourself, bad things could happen. If you've got 4, 5, 6 years in, finish it off. Don't be sloppy anymore.
Disposal.
Okay, so this is our drying station. Basically, we just kind of lay the knotweed on top. We try and keep it as flat as possible so it really dries out.
We also try and keep it generally in the same orientation, especially if there's the rhizomes or roots on the end of them.
That way you don't end up with it buried in the middle and the roots get properly dried out.
And this was about week 15, we estimated, or 12?
Somewhere around there.
All right.
Because after it does this for a couple years, it realizes there's either a road on top of me, goats, cows, people with an attitude, and it will pull back to its core energy stores. Just, you know, might only pull back a few feet, but it's going to stop trying to go out these dead options. So then you've got it, and you just have to finish it off. And I don't know how long it takes. You know, I go out every year, I think, it's May 10th, will I find any in year 14? And no, I didn't find any. Maybe we'll come back one more time, because you delay the phenology. When it's under that much stress, it takes a while for it to really kick out of the ground. And sure enough, on May 27th, I found 3 stems. June, I didn't find any. I'm like, but in July, I'm back to 2 stems. It's still there. And it thinks it's going to outsmart me, but I'm smarter than that plant. Maybe.
Do you try to dig up any of the roots?
I just cut it flush to the ground. That's important because you don't want, this is a people traffic area.
Yeah.
You don't want to leave these little stobs sticking up
Yeah.
that will sharpen off. And if you cut them at an angle, they'll be sharp at a 45-degree angle, and that'll go through a boot once it hardens off. So flush to the ground. We were doing it this morning. If you get the little ones that aren't like in a great big knotweed brain ball, you know, the big basketball of nodal rhizomal material. If it's just a little rhizome and it's sticking its head up, you can usually we got 8 inches of rhizome out down there.
Disposal by how?
Disposal by putting it on the weed drying station, on the pallet. You can put it in a bucket. Some sun does help. I prefer moisture out, so that's sun drying. The reason we use pallets is because of airflow underneath. So we have to tidy this one up really just for the airflow. And we've had it, I've certainly had mine 6 feet high. A little bit of airflow underneath, get the vines out of there, and then all winter, that -20 you'll get in here and freeze dry them again from the bottom. So you've got 2 things. So basically the sun burning it at its own pace, not our pace, but at sun pace. And then the freeze kill, we just need one good hard winter, not, 1 or 2 degrees, but 20 below once or twice. This pile is dead. If there is, I wouldn't be irresponsible with it and try selling it as compost, but I would feel free with tipping it over in a place that's accessible and visible. I wouldn't dump it over a dark edge because there's a drop off. That would be like, really? I mean, who knows? It'd be, if there is something alive, we've just made it hard on ourselves. Never do that. So the golden rule is keep it low, set the stage for your return because you know you're coming back. Stick with it beyond a year. You'll never have this much material again. And just by the time you get to year 3, this is almost a universal. Year 3 at most sites, the natives, look at this one, have started going, wow, there's actually resources here in sun, and they start doing this. Little beech trees, nobody likes beech trees, they're weedy. Tell you what, they got nice leaves and they stay there all winter. Basswoods, all of us, poison ivy. If you don't go through and weed whack or flamethrower it, you do get competition. By year 3, you'll actually have to weave through. This actually looks good. Look at all that competition there. Box elders, that's actually good. So you have questions.
Do you have a tarp under that pallet?
I think we did not choose to put a tarp down. That's an option. It's legit. The bigger issue is.
Yeah, I was wondering, that's a big root ball.
So this was underground. I want to give credit to the team in Hyde Park. They actually do a weed drying station for canes cut above ground. So there's nothing really of rhizomal origin. There are still nodes in the stalk. The nodes are really the growth points. But they actually take the underground rhizomal stuff, if they get it out, and they don't go too crazy with digging or excavating, but if it comes out
Yeah.
without causing erosion, these go on their own set of pallets. So they have 2 rows.
Okay.
Canes, cut canes. If you're compulsive, like many of us are, you know, they're all oriented the same way, you know, base of the stem towards the sun. When it starts to look like it's leaning, then you switch, so you have all these nice, it's like making a layer cake, you know. But these guys all go on their own pallet.